right before you remember how right before you came down, I was having trouble with the it wouldn't let me log into the YouTube on my desktop, but it would let me do it on my phone and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now it all works again. It's all back to normal again.
They don't. They're just all screwed up.
Yeah, I feel like our account is like blacklisted or something. Like I
Yep.
feel like something weird's going
Like
on.
CKP, that's got to be some undercover agency in Russia.
Right. Yeah. What would we have done that would like flag us in some way?
The Fedora video. Got too big, man. Got too close to the metal.
Oh, I bet I know what it is. I bet
Uh-oh.
YouTube runs on Ubuntu servers.
Can't have none of this Red Hat crap. Throw it out. Garbage. Now I can just see the Google employees walking around with little like Ubuntu logos shirts on.
Yeah. Ubuntu.
I run Ubuntu.
It's
By
Ubuntu,
the way.
so, yeah. YouTube for human beings. All right. Hello and welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming. So I actually am feeling pretty good, but I still have like sniffles and sneezes and clear my throat. So I just wanted to give the warning, the fair warning here that it's likely that I'll go through this whole episode, doing some of that, and if we're lucky, I don't get into a sneezing fit. If we're extremely lucky, but there's a good possibility that I'll get into a sneezing fit, and I'll try to edit those out. but I'm really glad we're here today because we actually made it to 100 subscribers.
Yes, I mean, boo. Now I got to install Arch.
So now you need to install Arch. It took us so long, like we mentioned that like back 50 subscribers ago, and then we didn't get the next 50 like really quickly. So
yeah,
I was thinking like people are going to forget that we brought that up. Like we could probably get away with Josh not having to install Arch, but people brought it up. So
yep.
You're going to have to install Arch, buddy. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yep. I'm confident that it will take me a couple of tries.
It's actually, I don't know if it's gotten easier or if I've just gotten better at it, but I swear the first time I installed Arch, it seemed like there was way more decisions and steps you had to make. Now it's pretty straightforward. I think I can walk you through it on a live stream.
I mean, it's not like I haven't done it before, but I've done it one time, only one time.
How long ago?
Now this is the thing. This was like probably 2 years ago, I'd probably say. Okay. And not only that, but it was in a VM, so it was like kind of cheating.
Yeah. So
and I followed a guide like to the letter. Like I did not stray from the guide. Like I wasn't like, oh, here's the file system. Let me try Btrfs. No. I just stayed right to ext4. Everything's the same.
Now that's what I do. And that's probably why it's easier for me now. But I think the first time I really did like follow the Arch wiki, and like I didn't follow any. I just like every step I like read about it and then tried to make a decision about like which file system I should use. What's the best terminal for the first time you install X11. I remember having to separately install X11 before I installed a desktop environment. Now I feel like you pick a desktop environment and it will automatically install
it
X11.
Gets all the dependencies. Yep.
And so I think the first
X11,
time
what's that? I thought Wayland. What?
Yeah, Wayland, right? So I think I probably was making it harder on myself the first time because I was doing it that way.
Yeah, could be. I
So
want to give my install a little pizzazz, though. I'm not
wanna-
going to just go by the rules.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll try to do something creative. So I want to live stream it, and I don't know how to do that unless you do a VM. Like I don't know another way because you could screen share
Well, I
yourself
could do a
installing it on a
VM.
VM. Yeah.
I mean, that's okay. If anyone is listening, which I hope you are, vote. Should I do a VM? Should I do a hardware install? Because it's
Yeah.
going to be a little harder to do the hardware install. But I don't know. We'll see.
The people that hang out with us in the Discord, you watch that. Post a suggestion there in the Mintcast Linux Gaming Discord, and then in comments on this video, if anybody wants to make a suggestion about whether you should do it in a VM or not, post it there. But yeah, I would love to live stream it if we could. I realize it's going to be harder.
I have a tripod and a camera, so I can do that too.
That's true. If you're doing it on you'd have to do it on a separate computer than the one you're using to stream. Could you do that?
Yeah. I have my desktop here and I have my laptop, so I could definitely do that.
All right.
I don't know how I get the video to the stream, but I'll have to figure that out.
If we do a live stream, I'll stay with you for the whole thing. We'll make a Saturday of it and just we'll get it installed.
The 24-hour Crowbar Kernel Panic stream, installing Arch, breaking my desktop.
I
throwing
wanted
it out
to
the
do
window.
Around Christmas time. I remember I got sinus infection around Christmas time too. This is just like a reoccurring thing for me. I have the worst sinuses like that ever existed.
And it's major pollen season right now, so you have an excuse definitely right now.
I went to a zoo this past weekend, and I was joking around with somebody that like I probably just have been allergic to giraffes my whole life, and I just never knew it.
And you went by the giraffe pen, you just sneezed the biggest sneeze you ever sneezed in your life.
Yeah, I was never around one long enough to know that it was an issue, but they brought up a good point that like there's lots of hay and stuff at the zoo, and so it was probably that.
Yeah.
It was probably just being around like, weird animal.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
And then, just like you said, then there's also just like sort of the changing in seasons right now. But I forgot how I got off on that tangent. We were talking about, around Christmas time, I wanted to do a Christmas morning Arch install for the Crowbar Kernel Channel YouTube channel. But then the reason I didn't do it is because I had a sinus infection. So, yeah, it's a recurring thing for me. But anyway, so this episode... it's episode 25, and we are live streaming over at YouTube at Crowbar Kernel Panic on YouTube. Weird stuff's been going on lately with our YouTube channel. People are leaving comments that aren't showing up. We don't know why. So we're gonna try to do this video a little differently. This live stream at the end of it, I'm gonna make it private, and then I'm gonna re-upload the video because that seems to solve the comment problem. So. If you want to leave a comment.
Trying a new strategy.
Yep, trying a new strategy. And then you can send us an email at crowbarkernelpanic@pm.me. Or you can join us on Discord. And I have a link in the show notes. But that is the Mintcast Discord where we like to hang out. And then comments. Like I said, we had weird issues with comments this past week. So I didn't actually save any to read. But I do have a message from... the Ancient that I was going to read if I could find it real quick.
Let's see.
I should have had this
ready. I have it too, but I got to find it.
Yeah. I said whenever they posted it, I said, hey, I'll read that on the show. Let me go find it. All right, I got it right here.
Cool.
All right, so last week, we read a comment from someone who had said that they were having trouble with their drawing tablet. I believe it was an XP Pen drawing tablet, and Ancient24 left a comment that never showed up, so he went to the Discord and posted it to us there. But he says, I'm trying to reduce this because part of what he said was just talking about the comment issue. So the options would be for XP Pen tablets not supported by Digimend. That was what I was trying to remember when I was talking about it last time. There's a package called Digimend. And for any tablets that are not supported by Digimend, since the project seems dormant. Yes, and that's true. It seems like they haven't really done any updates to that project in quite some time. But luckily, there is a user space tablet driver daemon, and we have a link to it to their GitHub page. And it's open source, and the devs seem to be great, according to Ancient24. And then there's also the XP pin. He has a link here to the official drivers. Oh, and they had updates as early as last month, or as recent as last month. They're closed sourced, and Ancient says he has not tried those. Let me click on this. So they're available for Linux directly on their website. They have
That's
Arch,
interesting.
Windows, Ubuntu sent to us.
Wow.
Fedora,
That's
Red
pretty
Hat,
cool.
Manjaro, Arch, Debian, OpenSUSE.
Whoa.
Yeah, they've got it all.
That's
here.
rare, actually.
Yeah,
That's rare to have proprietary stuff just straight out like that.
yeah. They even have Mint, not just Ubuntu based. They have Mint, Pop OS.
Wow. Holy crap. Oh, they like Linux.
Yeah.
Not sure why it's not open sourced, but they like Linux.
Yeah, so that's good to know. So actually, if you have an XP pin, you probably could just go to their official website and download from there. That's pretty wild. See, tablet might still work even though not officially supported by existing drivers in Fedora 35. Here are my messy notes. Wow, he even gave us a paste bin of a bunch of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, Ancient. We'll definitely have all this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is really detailed, too.
He's got a lot.
Yeah. Really appreciate
Thank
it. We'll put that in the show notes to this episode. And what I'll do is I'll go back and find that comment, and then I'll put a link to this episode saying, hey, check this out in the show notes.
Perfect.
Here.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, really nice. But yeah, because of the weird YouTube thing that's been going on. And I didn't talk about this in the last episode, but like you and I talked about it. I couldn't even log into our YouTube account for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, it would let me log in on my phone, but I literally couldn't log in on my desktop, on any desktop. Even if I switched to my Windows partition, it wouldn't let me log in. I would try to log on my my laptop, and it wouldn't let me log in. But on my phone, I could log in fine. I never tried.
Were you on your cell data?
No, it was all on the same.
That's so weird. Like I would say maybe it was the IP was banned or something for some stupid reasons.
Yeah.
But if you were on your Wi-Fi, then that wouldn't matter.
Well, yeah. I mean, I never tried it on like my work's Wi-Fi or anything like that. Like I only tried it here.
Right.
But I don't even know because of natting. Like, what would they? I don't even know what I guess they would know the public IP, like on the public side of my router. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never tried it anywhere but my house. So maybe I should have tried it like at the library or something. I don't know. But yeah, weird stuff's been going on with our account lately, and I think it's just YouTube's just a wild place. I don't know. I doubt we've.
Wild West.
I thought that we had done something like because I do like sometimes like our own posts, just like, and I thought, well, like maybe
there's that guy again liking his own post. We gotta block him.
But like I have 2 YouTube channels, and so what I'll do is I'll log into the other one and then like our post, just to kind of get the ball rolling, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe they see that and flag it as being suspicious, but like.
Maybe
there's people out there with like a dozen YouTube accounts.
And they do.
I'm only doing it one time. Like I can't imagine.
They're like VPNing, like in all different countries.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like this on like 50 countries.
I don't know. I got really weirded out by it, but I think it was just completely like random.
Yeah, it probably was. I have a lot of random stuff like that with different services, like YouTube and whatnot. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
But anyway. So glad we got to 100. We're going to do the Arch install.
Yeah.
And please like, subscribe, do all that jazz. The audio version of the podcast, the audio version is doing pretty good, by the way. I don't know if I've told you that recently, but we're rocking and rolling there. It's just getting the YouTube thing off the ground is a struggle. So we got some good news this week. Yeah, really good news. So news story item number 1, Nvidia is open sourcing their drivers, ! Smiley face. I just read about this today, and I really have not done anything.
It came out today.
Yeah.
as far
Oh
as I
wow.
know.
Okay. So
It
I'm
was
so I'm on
posted
the ball
today.
with it. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Um. So Nvidia releases open source GPU kernel modules. Nvidia is now publishing Linux GPU kernel modules as open source with dual GPL MIT licensing. Wow. So
Yep.
what all have you gleaned from this article and from this news so far?
Well, as far as what I can tell is that the roadmap that they're going by is they're going to start with the CUDA side of things, and the machine learning,
Yep.
and then they're going to ramp it up till the end of the year, and by the end of the year they're going to have even their graphics drivers for desktops open sourced.
Wow. Yeah, okay. So the
They're still going to
machine
have the proprietary binary that you can get, just like AMD has, that you can get their proprietary binary, but they're open sourcing all of the back end of, the drivers and everything.
and I think the big push for this is like you said they're starting with the AI and machine
Yep.
learning stuff. We just looked at in the last episode we looked at a high performance Linux laptop that was going to be
Yeah.
dedicated to that. So, I mean, it
Yep.
seems like that whole world is kind of gearing itself up with like a Linux
Mhm.
base. And so, they're working to have CUDA like work in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
Which also makes
Like you
sense why Red Hat is like
Yeah, right. They're
yeah.
like the proponent for this. Like they've been working for months with Nvidia on this whole thing, um, from what I've heard, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And we switched to Fedora. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
like perfect timing.
Yep. This episode was supposed to be like dedicated solely to Fedora 35, but I feel like this Nvidia news is now going to take the new headline.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest news in like 10 years, like for
So
Linux.
wild.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel for the desktop side of things, it might even be longer.
Yeah. No,
This is crazy.
I sent you a link to a Radeon graphics card I was considering buying because
Yeah.
I just as a Linux desktop user for 10 years now, I'm just giving up on Nvidia. Like
Yeah.
my next card,
It's way more difficult. It's
yeah.
way more difficult.
And I don't know why I've only been with them this long because I kept going back and forth, between Windows
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
as a Windows, like when I first started building PCs and like I was first into this this whole like culture and environment,
Right.
I was a Windows user and Nvidia was like the best thing that you could get at that
Oh
time.
yeah. Hands
Intel
down.
Nvidia was like the go-to. Intel
Yep.
Nvidia. If you had anything else, it's
Yep.
because you were on a budget because Intel Nvidia was
Yep.
the best.
Yep.
And over
I
the
know that
years,
struggle.
I love Ryzen now,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just been such a struggle with Nvidia on Linux that like my next card I swore was going to be Radeon, and now this is making me second guess it. I feel
I
like
mean, we still have time to wait to see what's going
I
to
know,
happen, but
I know, I
I'm
know.
hopeful because if Red Hat's working on them with this, I mean, I think they're pushing, you know. So I think this is going to happen.
I think what I'll do, I think what I might do is hold off. So I was going to buy a new processor, which was going to require me to buy a new motherboard, and I was just going to go ahead and get a graphics card while I was at it. I might just hold off on the graphics card because the games I play, it's not really that, like I don't really
Right.
need a
Oh
new
yeah.
graphics card. And so I might just do that, purchase half of it now, and then wait a few months. And if it looks like this Nvidia thing really is going to be beneficial, say a year from now, I'm going to wish I had an Nvidia card. Then maybe I'll just hold out and actually get. And the price of the like 3070s, like they are coming way down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely coming down now.
There's like 800, like $700-800 3070s that you can get now. I mean,
Yep.
last year that would have been $1,600.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, don't even remind me of that.
Because
Whew.
there's a few people at work that some of the like younger guys that I work with that are all like they're all building their gaming PCs now, and they're like,
Mhm.
I just got a 3070 for $900, and it's the prices are going down, man, and
Yep.
I believe they're gonna keep going down. I don't see them. I don't think they're gonna go back up. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I think they're gonna keep going down.
Yeah, we'll see.
So what is this going to do for the new wave? I never know how to say it. Nuvu drivers. Yeah,
Nuvo, something like that. So
Novu.
as far as what I heard, it was going to be the Nuvo drivers will be fully compatible with all 2019 and newer Nvidia GPUs, as far as I know, for all graphics once this thing is finalized and they get it into the kernel.
Okay.
Um,
So
so
will this get to the point where just using the Nuvu drivers will be like as good as the closed
yeah,
source drivers today?
yep.
That's so
They'll
wild.
you'll install. Let's just say, for instance, Fedora. You'll
Yeah.
install Fedora. You won't have to worry about the stupid checkbox for NVIDIA. You
Yep.
won't have to do the AK mod install, for NVIDIA. You won't have to do any of that. It'll just be in the Nuvo drivers, and you will be ready to go as soon as you boot up with Wayland support.
Um. So I wasn't looking at the chat. So Steve says, have you seen the new AMD RX 6750 XT? Almost same performance as 3070s for $150 less. I haven't looked at that specific one yet, Steve. But I'm copying this now to make sure I look at it. I think I was looking at the 6600 XT. But I don't know
Yeah, I'm
about
pretty sure
Radeon
that's what you're
cards.
looking at.
Like that's another reason I've stuck with Nvidia for so long is because I just don't know. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
their lineup the way I know the Nvidia lineup. I'm not as comfortable with it, and so what I was having to do was basically compare performances between, a 6600 XT and a 2060 or something. Like I was just trying
Yeah,
to find
right.
comparable cards to.
There's a ton of YouTube video or channels that are dedicated to literally just comparing the two.
Yeah.
Now, it's usually almost never on Linux, but still, at least raw performance on Windows, you can get a difference between the two because it's apples to apples at that point.
But he is right. So I'm looking at on Newegg.com the card that he mentioned. Currently is $629.99, and I haven't
Mm,
seen that's lower than I've seen any 3 series
yeah.
graphics card right now. Yeah, so you
Oh,
could be onto
AMD
something.
for price
Yeah,
to performance, AMD is definitely the best. I mean, you can't. I mean, according to right now, I mean they've really always been, but up till now they've been price to performance great.
yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll look at that one. That's only 100. The one I was looking at, I think, was like $600. So it's only what did I say? That was 650. Almost $700.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, 650. So I'll have to compare this one to the one I was looking at, Steve. So thank you very much. You could have just picked out my. Oh, there's even a few at 549. It could end up being cheaper than the card I was looking at.
But wait, what about the Intel discrete graphics card?
Yeah. What about that?
I don't know. I'm a little skeptical on that one. I haven't heard too much about it recently.
That reminded me of a conversation. This is so off topic. I'm sorry, but I remember one time I was joking around. This was during a WoW raid, and I was a Fury warrior, so I was able to hold two-handed weapons, and we needed a tank, and I was like, "Hey, like, don't underestimate my ability to hold a shield and a two-handed weapon." And someone in the raid was like, "Yeah, let's don't overestimate that." And then someone else was like, "Yeah, definitely not underestimate it." And then someone else was like, "How about we just don't estimate it?" It just reminded me of that because of something, whatever you said reminded me of that.
That's fine.
But yeah, so this is really good news. This is really good news. I think
Yeah.
someone in our Discord was like, could this be the apocalypse? Like no one ever thought Nvidia would do this. I mean, like Nvidia has
Yeah.
always been the meme in the Linux community that like
Yeah. 2 years ago, I would have said they'll never open source it.
yeah,
Never.
yeah.
Now, maybe.
That's pretty wild, man.
Oh yeah.
So we got anything there? We want to move on.
I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, but that's what I've gleaned so far from
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Unfortunately,
Did we mention the licensing? I guess it's just GPL and MIT license, so it's it's fully open source. It's not like some
yeah,
weird licensing.
yeah, that's the legitimate MIT open source licensing. It's not some kind of weird like open washing where they're gonna open source part of it enough that they
Mm-hmm.
could call it open source, but then
Yep.
closed source the latest release or something like that. Like
Yep.
it's nothing like that. Yeah, it's all gonna be open source. Um, it's pretty wild. Um, Fedora 36 released, and
Yep.
we're here to talk about Fedora 35 on this episode.
Well, I did. Well, I'll talk about that later. But
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
right.
Fedora 36 released.
All right.
So
We'll save the surprise for later.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
So Gnome 42. That's the headline feature for me at least.
mhm.
I love Gnome. I've used Linux Mint for a long time, and because Gnome sucked back then, for me personally, my opinion, and since Gnome 40, Gnome has been amazing. I don't care what anyone says; they will not sway me.
I feel exactly the same way. Like I hated GNOME. I used to joke about it on Mintcast all the time that it was
Yep.
like I had built a relationship with GNOME and we just had to go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, ever since trying Fedora 34 and
Yep.
that was GNOME 40, right? Exactly. Like I've been in ever since then, and
Yep.
I like Fedora's version of GNOME because it to me it seems the most vanilla version of GNOME.
Yep.
Like, I appreciate what Ubuntu is trying to do, where they're like, they're doing their like Ubuntufication. They're trying to
Yep.
improve on it in the way they think their users would rather use it, and I know why they do that. It's because at the time that they switched to GNOME, which was like around like 30,
Yeah.
it was not nearly as good as it is now. But
No.
I don't know that they really like. I would rather just have vanilla GNOME now.
Yep. At this point, yep, definitely.
They've
And now
definitely come a long way.
it's got the theme picker where you can do light or dark theme. That's amazing. That's like the one feature I really needed because I would always install GNOME tweaks for that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
now I don't technically even need GNOME tweaks because I got it right in the settings.
Yeah. I still install GNOME tweaks because of to change, and maybe I'm just used to doing it the way that I do it,
Hmm.
but to change some of the theme and icon
Yeah,
package stuff.
you can do that. Yeah, I just installed Papyrus. I think that's what it's
Yeah,
called
there's one
from
called
the
Papyrus.
repo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just installed that from the repo, and it's done pretty much.
Yeah, but no, it is, and I can't wait to try GNOME 42. So after this episode, I think I will upgrade to 36 and try that out. And then PipeWire and Wire Plumber improvements.
I didn't really dive into this and what they really did, but I know that they switched to Pipewire from Pulse Audio in I think 34. I think that's when they did. I'm pretty sure that's when they switched.
Oh
And
yeah,
now
Fedora 34. Yeah.
yeah. And then Wire Plumber is like the back end, I believe, to Pipewire to like join everything together cuz Pipewire does video and audio.
Yeah.
So
PipeWire is extremely confusing to me, and maybe I'm
yeah,
just I'm just in the
it's
wrong.
because it does pulse audio and it does jack and it
Yeah.
does other things that I don't even know about. I just basically know jack and pulse audio. But you can use like any of the settings for those and it'll work. It's like I don't even know how they did it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it like starts up a service. So like if you start running Jack, I think PipeWire starts like a PipeWire
Y-
Jack
Yep.
service to
Yeah,
intercept it
that's
or
what
something.
it is.
I
Yep.
tried to use it. I tried to use PipeWire with Jack on Fedora 34. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know what I'm running right now because I'm on that Nabarro Fedora
Oh.
35, and I don't even know. I actually think, but I don't know because I was gonna say I think I'm using Pulse Audio because I know that I'm using applications that are using Pulse Audio. But just like we were just saying, that could just be PipeWire intercepting
Yeah.
it. and
Right.
treating it like I have no idea. But that's a good thing. If I am using Pipewire, it is so good that I don't even know I'm using it. So
Yep. That's the
I
goal.
I guess that is the goal. And if that's the case, then they've come a long way there too, because I know
Yeah.
in Fedora 34 it was painfully obvious that I was using Pipewire.
I think that was when it was brand new, so that was
It was.
very like
It
not
was.
Pipewire, but the implementation of it.
Right. They've been working on the project for a long time, but I think
Oh
Fedora
yeah, it's been a
34 was
while.
like, I think that was like the first like big title that was like using it publicly.
Yep.
Linux
So-
kernel 5.17, Mesa 22 drivers, and Open SSL 3.0.
Yeah. I mean, the OpenSSL part is not really part of really what we need to worry about, but I just copy and pasted. So, but the Mesa, yeah,
I say Mesa.
drivers.
I don't know.
That's important because of AMD users.
Yeah. See if I switch, I'll have to get used
Yep.
to that. I'll have to learn about that.
Yeah. Basically, this is what you need to know. Get the newest kernel possible, and you'll be great. That's it. That's the beauty of having an AMD card. Is it's like just get the newest kernel, and you'll be golden.
Yeah, I usually have to get to the newest kernel anyway because of well, I remember on Mint I had to upgrade to 5.17 to get my controller, my Amazon controller, to work.
Oh yeah, right.
So I'm kind of used to just having to go to the latest kernel for
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And with Fedora, you don't really need to worry about it because it's already on the pretty much latest kernel.
Yeah. And Nvidia now defaults to Wayland unless you're
Yep.
on the Nabarro project because
Because they don't care about
Yeah.
Wayland.
well, they
No,
want,
it's-
they want what I'm sure they would love to go to Wayland. But
Oh yeah.
they want to use, and I say we because I'm in the same boat. I want to use whatever's going to work best for the
Right.
games that I play. And
Yeah.
right now that's X11, but Wayland gets better every time, every installation.
does.
So you have to appreciate that.
I'm sure there's much more improvements that we haven't, mentioned. I know there are, but that's the biggest ones that I really gleaned from the whole release.
Well,
So-
now that we've kind of committed, off camera, we've kind of committed to doing this Fedora thing for a while. Like if you follow the show, you'll know that out of all the desktops that we review, I always love Arch, and then my top desktops are always and Arch, Mint, Fedora. But Fedora grows on me every time we review it. Like every time we review it, I like it a little more. And I used to Fedora used to be a joke, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Like Fedora used to be like such a joke, and like they are like killing it right now. They're like the best desktop.
It's like Ubuntu is like totally
Oh,
as far as the Linux like enthusiasts go, it's done.
yeah, it's like it's totally been reversed. Like
Yep.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. How the tables have turned, Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm excited to try Fedora 36 after we talk about 35 today. Heroic Games Launcher has new updates. So we talked about the last major updates that they had to the Heroics Game Launcher back. It's like 3 or 4 episodes ago. They had changed it so that you didn't have to put in a key from your Epic Games account. You could just log in using your Epic Games account. Well, they've done even more. They've done even more features now where they've improved the sort of the look and usability.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly cosmetic changes, but it's really nice because it is a
cosmetic
major
means a
improvement.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
with
a
the GUI
big
app,
deal.
it's huge.
yeah, and if you saw it didn't look it didn't look bad before,
right?
But the changes definitely make it look more user friendly. So I think it's a good change. And the article we have linked here is from Gaming on Linux. So thanks to those guys for reporting on that. And then
Yeah, definitely.
in a similar game launcher news, but a very different backstory. The XIV launcher has updated, and they've not only updated to allow use on Steam Decks, but they actually have a really nice guide on how to actually get Final Fantasy XIV working on your Steam Deck. So This guide is fantastic. I actually have gotten this to work prior to this guide, but it was certainly not this easy. I basically followed somebody on YouTube, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. But I basically just followed exactly what he did step by step, and eventually got it to work. But what this is, I'm sorry, I keep sniffling. What happened was Final Fantasy released an update that basically broke the game for Linux users. And it wasn't the game itself, it was the launcher. So they updated their launcher to a new version, and it just would not load on Linux. And if
It's
you can't
always
get the launcher
freaking
to load,
launcher.
right, exactly. If you can't get the launcher to load, you can't log into the game. And and so there was like on ProtonDB, there was like every comment was like, "Oh, I followed these steps and I got it to work." And then the next comment was like, "I followed so and so steps and they didn't work for me." And
Yep.
you know, I mean, it was just like impossible. It seemed like some people were having good luck and some people couldn't get it to work, and nobody knew why. So, I found a video of a guy, and I have it here. I'll pull it up. This YouTube channel, the YouTube channel is Accessible Linux Gaming. And he has a video called Linux Gamer Fixes the FFXIV Launcher Angrily. And the whole video is just him. Like, he never says any words. He's just like angrily grunting at the screen as he's trying to follow guides to get it to install. But it's also a guide because I literally followed every step that he took and my game worked after at the end of the video.
He probably planned on it being like a normal video, and then he had so many problems, and he watched it over again. And he's like, "Oh, I should put the angry at the end of this title."
Yeah. So I shout out to that guy, and he really needs more subs because his video was really funny. And well, it has more than us. It's 20 more than us. So we need more subs, and that guy needs more subs. We need to get that guy on the show, and then maybe we'll each
his
have
subs need to
200
sub us, and our subs need to sub him. Let's do it.
We can double our subscriber count. But yeah, if you follow that guide, it actually will work. But an even better guide here is this that I have linked to in the show notes from the XIV launcher. They basically walk you through just adding a non-Steam game, and you're just adding their launcher, and then you're able to use their launcher instead of the actual game's launcher. And they list their guide as working for the Steam Deck specifically. Now, I'm wondering if it really is limited to the Steam Deck, or that was just like they know, like they're doing some targeting there. I don't see why this wouldn't also work on any Linux desktop. I mean, I'm not sure. I want to try it after the show. I'll try it and report back because I haven't actually installed Final Fantasy on this yet. My account's actually not active right now, which part of the annoying thing for testing things like this is for Final Fantasy, you can't go through the installer unless your account's active.
Oh.
You have to log in at the beginning before it'll actually download the game content.
Is there like an online login, like where you can just kind of like log in to their like online service and then do it?
No, you gotta.
It sucks.
You gotta log in, but I got a friend that's been kind of harassing me to play a little bit, so I might I don't know, between now and the next episode I might actually start my account back up and log in. I don't know if you mentioned, but it looked like it's available from FlatHub, so yeah,
I would imagine then you should be able to do it on pretty much any Linux distro because it's distro agnostic at that point.
The FlatHub is for the launcher. You still have to install the game files after logging in.
Okay, right. Yeah. So that might be a different story. Because you need wine and all that.
I could at least test it that far, even if I don't start my account back up.
Right.
I could install the launcher. I could see if it allows me to log in and start downloading the game files.
Right.
But it would be nice if I could actually go through the process and make sure the game launches. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how tight the bills are this month. But yeah, so that's good news. And then I guess we'll get into what should be the meat of the show.
Should be.
I think Nvidia kind of stole its thunder, though, to be honest. Fedora 35. We both decided we were going to use it and do some kind of testing and give it a bit of a review this week. So I can just tell by the show notes you have stuff typed out there, and I don't have anything typed up. So I feel like I feel like we can
All
start
good.
with we can start with you, but we can go back and forth a little bit. I'll tell you what I've been doing on Fedora 35.
Okay. So yeah, I installed it, and I think I have figured out why my fans were like ramping up and then like staying pretty much at full speed all the time, because right now they're actually working really good. That's for another reason. Again, I will mention that later. But so it was basically the Nvidia Power D service would basically just use one whole core of your CPU 100% all the time, and it would just constantly, hit that all the time, and then all of a sudden it would your fans would ramp up, and it would just keep going because it would get so hot. And the one core, since the temperature gauges each core, it would ramp the fans up to like almost max, because that one core would be like 90 degrees, because it would be, at 100%. So basically the only fix I found for this was to just literally kill the service, kill the Nvidia Dash Power D service. That was it. And that would definitely fix the issue. But it would only fix it for, a certain amount of time, maybe like 2 more reboots, and it would start to do it again. So that was definitely why my fans were ramping up and staying up, because once I killed that process, it was nice. It was cool, quiet. It would ramp up when it needs to and go back down when it doesn't.
So I just checked that service. I've never looked at this ever, but I just checked that service.
Me neither before this.
Yeah, and apparently it has failed on my system right now.
Oh,
Nvidia Power D service is failed.
maybe it.
It says no matching GPU found. Maybe it's something that only certain GPUs actually use that.
Could be. Well, mine's
Different service.
mine's a brand new, 3060. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, rub it in. Why don't you rub it in?
Hey, you don't have the problem. I did.
Yeah, maybe so. That's weird. Now I'm wondering if it should be running on mine, or if it's I guess I don't
Well,
want
as
it.
far
I
as
guess I don't want it running if it's gonna make my
Well,
fans
that's the thing.
spike up.
It has to do with the power management. That's what it basically controls, is how much power the GPU is getting at any amount of time. So it's a good thing. So it should be running, but if it's not, then it fixes the heat issue. But I guess the power isn't as accurate, or as the power savings isn't as good. That's what I kind of got out of it. So that's what you got to do if you're having this issue.
Well, that's
But
crazy good to know. Yeah.
So yeah.
So I didn't have any trouble installing drivers this time because of the Nabara project.
Right. Yeah.
It just basically after installation asked me if I wanted to do the Nvidia X11 drivers, and I said yes.
Right. Was it like a checkbox, or was it like?
I think so. I think after my initial installation, it was like the first thing that popped up whenever I booted the system for the first time.
Right, because when you do a normal Fedora install, you got to check the box for third-party repos. You got to enable that first. Then you got to go to the command line, and you got to do a DNF install akmod-nvidia.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that.
Well,
yeah,
that is how you get them going on regular Fedora. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't have to do any of that for sure. I think it just was a pop-up that came up right whenever it came up. I see that you have several games here that you say are 100% working.
Yeah, that's as far as my testing went.
I know that as far like when we test things, you are way more particular than I am, which is a good thing. It's attention to detail, and it's great for the podcast. It's great for the podcast, but for you to say that a game is 100% working, man, let me tell you, that game is 100% working.
Yeah.
So that is like high ratings. Like I'll live with some things and just be like, yeah, it worked pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with it. But if you say it's working, I'm confident that it is a working game.
Yeah. I mean, like I have here, I have Horizon Zero Dawn, Witcher 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Resident Evil the remake, All of those 100% working, didn't have a single stutter, didn't have any kind of frame, drops, where it got glitchy anywhere.
Yeah.
The Horizon Zero Dawn, the weird grass shading issue,
Yeah.
not there. Um, and every one of these games, every single one, except for Resident Evil, had stuttering, severe stuttering, like to the point where I couldn't play it.
Hmm.
Pretty much at certain points in the game, like when it got more graphically intense,
Hmm.
and that was not here at all. I went to every city that would do that in the games, and nothing. It was amazing. I didn't do any specific testing. I didn't put the frame counter up and do Mango HUD or anything like that. I wanted to
Yeah.
get a kind of non um like I didn't want the frame counter to make me think I'm having issues, you know what I'm saying? Like a
Yeah.
false positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as what I tested, it was smooth. I mean, it was so smooth. And Resident Evil Remake worked the first try. I didn't have to do any of the fixes.
I was about to say that. So did you have to
Yep.
do the normal like hoops that you have to jump through to get that game to work? It just installed and
Nope.
worked. Wow.
Just installed and worked. That was the most impressive one that I said, because I'm like, this ain't gonna work. They didn't care about this game. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, because
that zombie's
normally,
looking pretty good in that video. That's like 480p. If
yeah,
that.
I'll have to try. I was playing Resident Evil Zero before my last reinstall, and I actually didn't finish it. But it's the same way because it was made in that same era of Resident Evil remakes where
Yep.
you used to have to install like what was it, Windows Media Player or something
Yeah,
like that
Windows
to get it to
Media
work.
Player, like 11 or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Wow, that's crazy that you didn't have to do all that.
Nope. It
That's
was amazing.
it has to be Steam Deck. It has to be they're trying to make things
Yep.
more compatible
It's
with Steam
gotta
Deck.
be.
Because
I'm
why
like,
else would they care about that? Like,
right.
how many people are
Right.
out there trying to play games that use Windows Media Player 11?
I
you
know. Yeah, it's gotta be Steam Deck. Gotta be. No other question.
Proton devs out here like, man, got to make sure we get that Windows Media Player 11 in the new Proton.
And
Gonna put
and
WinAmp in there.
Ancient 24 was talking to me a little bit, and a good point he made, and I heard other people make this point, and this is great for game preservation, because once they get it working in Proton, as long as you lock in that Proton version, this game will work pretty much for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, yeah, and on the Steam Deck too. Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. I was
Yeah.
just gonna think like people are using the Steam Deck as like this like what do they call it, like a retro gaming tool.
Retro console. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using it like a retro
That's pretty much
console.
what I would use it 100% for if I had one, basically.
Right. Yeah, in situations like this falls into that category so well.
Yep.
I did a little bit of game testing on Fedora 35, so I installed Elder Scrolls because you told me that Elder Scrolls was working perfectly for you. So
Oh, I forgot to add that one. I knew I missed one. Yeah, Elder Scrolls is also working perfectly.
100%.
100%. No glitches. Oh, and a caveat to all these, not a caveat, but something I did first was I made sure I let the shaders process
Yeah.
on all these. I wanted to make sure they were all exactly, up to snuff, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we got scalded for not doing that in a previous episode. And it turns out it
Yeah.
actually really does make a big difference.
It does. Well, what happens is if you don't let that happen, it'll do it in the background and it's hitting your CPU, and then that's what causes the frame jumps and the frame stutters.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. It's got to do it somewhere. So if you skip it
Yep.
there at the launch, like it's gonna happen somewhere.
Yep.
So I tested Elder Scrolls Online, and I was getting frame issues, but I'm actually thinking that I could just need to upgrade my CPU because I've never had as good a frame rate as you have in that game. And
Right.
even back whenever our systems were so similar that the only difference was the CPU.
Right.
And even in other, like the last time I installed Linux Mint, I feel like I logged in and I would get like jittery in certain spots. Now, whenever I say in certain spots, I literally mean like if I'm near, I forget what they call their arch things where you can like fast travel.
Oh, the
in.
the waypoints.
The
Or
waypoints.
way shrines.
Way shrines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
way shrines. Yep.
it's whenever I'm like running by a way shrine or somewhere where like players are loading in and out rapidly. then my frame rate will go from like 80 or 90 down to like 12, like rapidly.
Oof, that's bad.
And even in some cases, like I'll stop, I have like such a lag that like I'll stop hitting W and my character's like still moving.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst.
And the thing is I feel like it is worse sometimes compared to other times, but I don't think it's ever not really there. Now, do
you think at all it's your network connection?
It could be, because that's another thing too. Is lately,
because a lot of
we've been seeing network issues lately with doing the podcast, and it could be related to that. Now,
because no, I was just gonna quick mention. Usually, when you're walking and you let go of W and you're walking still, a lot of times that means that your latency is messed up.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Right.
And it only happens. That's another reason I don't think it's got anything to do with Fedora or with my graphics settings, is because it doesn't happen whenever I'm away from other players, and it doesn't happen if I'm even in an area with a lot of players, but those players were there. Like, it only happens near the way shrines because people are dropping in and out rapidly.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think you're right. It either has to do with network or with CPU, because I'm thinking that it's either my network connection is not good enough for me to keep up with where players are located between the server and my computer.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's either network, or it's my CPU like is not able to process it as fast as
right.
Man, that would be interesting. I wonder how I could test and determine the difference between the two.
Hey Bo, why are you playing ESO at work? Just testing.
Just testing something.
Alt tab.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to test it, because like I was already looking to upgrade my CPU, because you bought a new fancy CPU, so I was wanting to upgrade mine, and so I would be willing to do that and then see if there's an improvement. But you could be right, because this is not. There's other network related issues that I've noticed, like in watching HBO or something like that, something streaming. I see like shadow effects sometimes. Like,
that's weird.
Yeah, like if there's like a dark screen, like a dark scene or something, I'll see like shadowing effects off of.
Like what do they call that?
It's not like
where it gets blocky. It's like, it's not pixelation.
Yeah, it's not like pixelation. It's like a dream effect. Like, I see these like.
Oh yeah, like a wisp. Effect behind
Now, I have the same TV upstairs and downstairs. They're just different sizes, and it happens on both TVs. It could be a defect in that TV, but for it to happen on both TVs at the same time, like, I kind of think, and it's always streaming. Of course, that's all we ever watch is streaming stuff. But I don't know.
Did you try changing the refresh rate on the TV?
I don't know if I did or not.
Try that, because my dad's TV has so many freaking settings that we finally dropped the frame rate from 120 to 60, and that actually helped it. Well, you really couldn't do it manually, but there's settings in there, and one of them was like dropping it down to 60 basically.
But then also, like, we have had trouble, like the last episode we did, we had trouble getting a connection good enough that we could live stream. And so I am noticing like network issues in my house, and it could just be we have a lot of Internet of Things devices now. We have we've got cameras, we've got like smart everything, and it could just be that there's just too many things on my damn network at this point. So I don't know.
VLAN it off, man.
Yeah, I know. I had that at my old house. At the old house, I had OpenSense set up, and I had a VLAN awesome. For all the Internet of Things, and then I had a VLAN for everything else. And whenever we moved, I didn't want to drill holes in the house.
Oh, right.
To get the access
you mentioned
points.
That. Yeah.
So I went a different route, and
maybe you're paying for it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's been almost 2 years, and my luck on routers is like about 3 or 4 years. Like I can't seem to keep routers for like extended periods of time.
Gee, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is crazy.
And that's a fancy router, so that should definitely have no problem at all.
No, it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to start buying $200 routers and just replacing them every 2 years, Like, I'm never going to buy a fancy router again if they only last 3 years. But anyway, that was way off subject. So I don't think that issue is Fedora, and part of the reason I don't think it is because whenever I am getting good frame rates, I'm getting amazing frame rates that I've never gotten on Ubuntu or Linux Mint or Arch. I was hitting 100 even in the cities, even around other players.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now
I don't even hit that sometimes.
Well, 100 frame rate around other players that are moving around and stuff, but I'm not moving. So I mean, it's
okay.
But then whenever
even so though, that's good.
Yeah, but it's extended, not for extended periods of time, but consistently above 60 for extended periods of time. It's only when I run by players that are like zoning in and out in one concentrated area that I have this problem. I tried to do my I'm actually really sad that it didn't work because I thought it was the funniest thing that nobody else probably thought was funny. It was only funny to me. But my Lost Coast FPS test that I like to do every time. The not Counter-Strike, it's Half-Life Lost Coast.
Half-Life, yeah.
It basically capped at 60. So normally it tells you the FPS like up to like 350 or whatever it'll get to.
Right.
For whatever reason, I don't know if I have a setting turned on or what, but it just capped at 60. It just wouldn't. Yeah, I just got a perfect 60 score instead of like 459 or whatever I should have gotten.
Right.
But I did do the gravity mark test, which let me find that, and I'll tell you what my score was on gravity mark.
I got to do that too. I was gonna do it, and I just didn't get time.
But I'll tell you why this is a bad score. After I show it to you. So my gravity mark test at 1920 by 1080, so I did it just full screen on one monitor. I got a score of 8,891. The reason why this is a bad test is I wanted to compare it to whatever my score was on Fedora 34.
Okay.
We didn't do gravity mark for Fedora 34. We didn't start doing gravity mark.
It's still supported. Install it. No.
Yeah, I could go back and then do it. Back whenever we did Fedora 34, it was like the next episode we found out about gravity mark and started using gravity mark from then on. So we actually never got a gravity mark score for Fedora 34. But starting now, and if we're about to do Fedora 36, then I can compare 35 to 36. But honestly, I doubt there's going to be a difference. I feel like it's going to be exactly the same. But I could at least do a comparison after I get a new CPU, see how different it is. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what you would get on a 3 series graphics card.
Yeah, I got to do it.
Yeah, I would be interested to know what you would get. We'll have to do it for Fedora 36 and then compare our our results.
Definitely.
But yeah, I really like gravity mark. I used to do the Lost Coast thing because I thought it was funny, but nobody got the joke but me. So I the reason it's funny is just because like you could run anything on it and it's gonna get a really high score just because it's so old. But I could start doing Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike has a stress test. We could do the Counter-Strikes. Yeah, the original Counter-Strike source has the stress test with the like little floating thing. I'll start doing that instead of Lost Coast.
Oh man, that's funny.
But yeah, so that was my testing on Fedora 35. For the most part, I forgot that I was even testing anything because everything has worked so well. I've been doing
that's my experience.
Yeah, I mean I've even been doing like my day job on here a little bit, and I haven't had any interruption. Everything's been pretty normal.
That's good. That is good.
Yep.
I do have one more game I forgot to mention. I see here, Jedi Fallen Order. I tried that one as well. I just got that $10. Amazing.
Yeah. Wow, $10. Huh.
Yeah, I always wait for like at least a year till they get down to like $10. I will not pay $60 for a game. Elden Ring? You're funny. I ain't paying $60 for that. I don't care how good it is,
dude. I was gonna.
It's probably worth
Ring.
it though.
I was gonna get Elden Ring. I was like lusting over it so hard, and then I just decided I would probably get it. We'd talk about it on the show, and then
Yep.
I'll never play it again.
Yeah, I know. I have that problem.
Yeah, yeah. I would play it
Uh,
just enough so we could talk about it, and then I'll never play it again.
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. I say 90% working, and that's because the game works flawlessly. You go into it, you start the game, start a new game, whatever. Everything's smooth. I mean, I'm talking super smooth, like Windows smooth. That's how smooth it is.
Yeah.
And then you open the start menu or the pause menu, whatever you want to call it. And you go back out and everything is stuttering, everything is
Oh
choppy.
yeah, yeah. I've had that happen on other games.
And there's so far there hasn't been a fix that I can excuse me, that I can find on ProtonDB at all. So I'm waiting for that to be fixed, but if as long as you don't pause the game, you're great.
Yeah, I can't think of the game off the top of my head right now, but I've definitely had that same experience where like,
That's the first time I actually experienced that.
I want to say at one time it might have been Final Fantasy that did that, but I could be mistaken. But sorry, I got a cough.
It's got one of those very
sorry.
It's all good. It's got one of those fancy, pause menus where it's like, all graphically, intense and everything, where you shift through stuff and everything flies around and whatever. So that could be it. Transitioning from that back to the game. It's like alt tabbing. Sometimes that'll screw up your game.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna tell you about a game. There's not really a whole lot to talk about, so I'll just maybe just throw it in here at the end of the show. But there was a game called Demeo that I talked about. I believe I talked about it back when we were talking about wanting to do some sort of VR headset.
Okay.
I'm launching Steam, so I could pull it up. I got Steam advertisements. Sorry. The the way the game works, it used to be VR only, and it was basically like you were playing a tabletop game similar to Zombicide, which we showed you when you were down here. Where I was gonna pull up there. They don't have a whole lot of screenshots actually though on their Steam page. But it was like a little, like it was like literally a tabletop simulator kind of thing where
Right.
you were like in someone's basement and they had like a table. They had like a table in the middle of the room, and there's like pieces on the board that you move around and you roll dice and but it was all VR. They didn't have a PC version of the game.
Cool.
Well, they just released a PC version of the game, which
okay.
I had been hoping they would do. And the way the game works is you basically have 3 actions, and you have like a deck of cards. So you have like a hand that you'll draw every turn, and you can take actions based on the cards you have in your hand. And you're like, just like in Zombicide or a game like that, where you're like doing like a dungeon crawl, where you're like opening chest, killing monsters and gathering loot and all that sort of stuff. But it's just all done, virtually. And it's a really cool game. I like it. I like the mechanics of the game. I feel like if it were a desktop, like an actual desktop, like dungeon crawl RPG, I would enjoy that. The only downside to the game is, one, I think it's overpriced. It's $30 right now. I think it's a $20 game. Yeah, I think $20 is like really good. $30 feels a little steep.
Yeah, definitely.
So $19.99 is probably what it should cost. And you know what? Everything goes on sale on Steam. It'll be on sale.
Yep.
Just watch
That's my thing.
Yeah, just watch for it to go on sale. It will be on sale. And then another downside to the game is just that you can tell that it was made for VR, and they just ported it to work on PC.
Okay.
Because there's lots of like,
I hate that.
Yeah, lots of like right click, turning your camera, and lots of like, I can almost see around this corner.
Like,
but
how
not
can
really.
we simulate a VR system with a PC?
Yeah.
Basically, that's how they ported it.
It's exactly like because it's exactly the same game that they made for the VR headset. They just made it work with a mouse and keyboard. And there's even some, like, I watched some YouTube videos because I got dropped into, when I tried to play my first mission, I got dropped into a storyline, and it basically just, like, literally just dropped me on this map with no
Mm.
explanation. And so I
Oh
was
boy.
thinking, well, is this because I'm playing it on Linux and like the cut
Right.
scene or whatever didn't
Cutscene
play?
didn't work. Yeah.
And so I looked it up on YouTube and I watched a playthrough in VR, and it
Mm.
did. It had this whole elaborate thing where this book opens up and
Oh,
then it starts explaining the opening of the storyline and the plot before it drops you onto this map. Um,
Bo's going in blind.
yeah, exactly. But then I watched another playthrough, and it was a group of people playing it on the PC version, and the same thing happened to them. They just got dropped right in with no
Oh,
video.
that sucks.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a
That's just
bug.
bad. That's just bad porting.
Yeah, it's
That's
either
I
way it's
hate
bad.
that.
It's either way it's bad porting, but I don't know if it's like it's a bug, it wasn't intentional, or if they
Right, if it
just
wasn't
thought they could just
intentional.
get away with like cutting that part out.
How could they? That's
Yeah,
too much.
yeah, I don't know. It's
No,
weird,
there's no
but
way they could have. That must be a bug. It's gotta be.
yeah. But that being said, looking past, and I think that's kind of a pretty big flaw, but looking past that, which by the way, that's why I think it's a $20 game. I think if they had all that working, maybe it would be worth
Right.
$30. Because I really like the concept of the game. And I am a board game player, and I think it's a really good board game. So I mean, I think I enjoy the concept of the game. I just don't think it's worth $30. But
Yeah. Right.
anyway, if they have like a patch or something that improves it, I'll talk about it again on the show. But I guess that's about all we got.
Well, yeah, I got 2 announcements.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
So
I know one of them.
first off, I upgraded to Fedora 36 last night.
Okay.
It was so smooth. I have never done a Fedora upgrade like that. Like ever, I should say ever. I've done Ubuntu upgrades, but I've never had such a smooth, like the GUI came up to check out for updates. I checked for updates. It said, "Oh, there's a new version of Fedora." I clicked install. It did its thing, downloaded, yada yada, and
Bob's
that
your
was it.
uncle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Restarted, did its little install thing, came back up. Everything worked fine. The only thing I had was the whole Wayland Nvidia thing where it tried to default to Wayland, and it works beautifully on my laptop screen, beautifully. But when I try to use my external monitors, it basically just gives up the ghost and freaking is black. It's just everything is no screens. All my
Yeah.
screens are just off. So I had to switch back to X. But when I switched back to X, everything was the way I had it. So not even a little hiccup I had.
Huh. Yeah.
So I'm running on Fedora 36.
So you're already on 36. So you're
Yep.
ahead of the game for the next episode. All right.
Yep. I did
Oh.
have to uninstall my VPN because that was not supported yet. So I'm gonna work around that somehow.
I will try to do an update, but I may have to get the ISO because I'm on the
Do you have the software updater or the GUI updater?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Is it probably would just work that way?
Yeah, if you go in there and check for updates, it should just come up a big thing saying Fedora 36 is released. Update now, big blue button.
It is. Yep, it's right there. Fedora Linux 36 available. Yeah. So
Don't press it.
I'm sure that would work. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that Nabarro is just literally Fedora, but they've just added stuff on top of that. So I think this feature would also work, and I doubt it would interrupt anything they've done. So
right.
Yeah, I'll probably just try that.
Yep.
I'll read and see if they have anything on their Discord or on their
right.
website.
They might have
Yeah.
specific instructions, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So for my second announcement,
Yeah.
I think I am ready to ditch Windows finally.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I right now I have a dual boot on my laptop.
Yeah.
And what really spurred me on to do this is the combination between Fedora 36 or 35 and 36 being amazing on my computer, and I fixed the fan issues and all that stuff. And that and the fact that I'm sick and tired of having to install my games onto my root file system, and that's the only way I can get them installed. Or not root, but you know what I mean, the same disk as I am using for my install. So, because I have so much disk space on my laptop, because I added disks. So between all of my disks, I think I have 2 terabytes in my laptop, and I'm only using 500 500 gigabytes of that for Linux. So I definitely am. I'm almost 100% sure I'm gonna just clone my Fedora install to my main NVMe drive in this laptop. I'm that confident on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
unless something goes wrong in the next week, it's probably going to be that way.
yeah. I get frustrated every time I use. So I can use Windows. It's a weird thing with me. I can use Windows at work and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But on my home computer, I get frustrated every time. And you and I talked about this before off the air and probably also on the air, but I think it's just I'm already used to all of the, like, to me, I would have to migrate to Windows at this point. Like, I don't have to be like,
Right.
well, how do I get Kden Live on Windows? You know, like I would have to like find
Yep.
the Windows alternative to all these applications I'm used to using. But yeah, I
actually think Kden Live is for Windows. I think they make
do.
a Windows version.
I think they actually do have a
So
Windows
if you
version.
need it, they got it. But I mean, if you
and
use it on Linux,
Krita is the same way. Krita has a
Yep.
Windows version. Yeah, so I could easily migrate to Windows if I wanted to.
don't do it. Don't do it.
I thought your announcement was going to be that you were graduating.
Oh yeah, I got so wrapped up in the whole Nvidia thing.
You're more excited. You're more excited about upgrading to Fedora 36.
Hey, okay, that's how you know I'm a Linux user. All right. Screw real life. Oh yeah, I graduated, by the way.
Congratulations.
No, yeah, no,
man.
that's exciting. No, I'm really excited about that. And actually, my school has an opening for a system administrator.
Nice.
That I'm actually going to apply for at some point.
Awesome.
The only flaw to that is they need a 500-word essay to apply. And I mean, I get it. I get where they're coming from with it. So but I'm actually going to use my podcasting experience to write that, because it's basically trying to get you to write about how you view like equality in the workplace and that kind of thing, like working with other people in different countries and stuff like that, and how different ethnicities are different and stuff like that. So I'm going to use my podcasting experience with Mintcast and all that, because I've worked with everyone around the world. Several different people are from different countries, so it's going to be it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Now, congratulations, man. You told me you were done with classes, and I didn't act excited, and I was just like, and then you mentioned it again, and I was like, wait, are you like done with classes? And you were like, yep, I graduated.
Well, now see. Okay, so it's not 100% official because I didn't get the email, but it says 100% satisfied for all of my requirements, so I should be good.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Now go get a job.
I know.
I'm
working on it. No, that's my only feature.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the show to get us to 100, so that Josh has to install Arch. Soon. And our next goal, I don't know what we should set it to be, but I guess we'll do something at like 500. We'll try to get 500 subscribers.
Ooh,
and,
yeah. Maybe we'll do like a light something at 250.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what our next
like something major at 500.
We'll have to come up with. Everybody would say Linux from scratch. I'm not even going to try it. Not
even attempting that.
That'll be 1,000. 1,000 subs. We'll do.
Yeah, if I was like a basement dweller, like living in my parents' basement, yeah, I might try it, because what else do I have to do?
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yep. See ya.